Hello again. This is the Axia standard range fan that I've just acquired. Very similar in design to the universal range that I've got. You'll note the front plug on this one still has the 4 pins, so you've got earth, neutral and 2 lives to swap between the polarity of the fan so that it spins either in extractor or intake. This one, the actual centre dias is a lot smaller than the universal range, but the design element remains almost the same. The one distinct, I would say, disadvantage with this model over the universal is that the motors do not have the magnetised centrifugal magnet that pulls the shutters out, the universal range. This, however, was more popular than universal range when it came out because it was cheaper to manufacture. So I imagine Axia took the universal model and turned it into the standard range. These grills are synonymous with fans. You see them everywhere. They're still used today. They're very popular design. You'll see this grill in a lot of commercial and domestic environments. This is the 7.5-inch model. Again, they copied the universal range in terms of sizes. There was a 6, a 7.5, a 9 and a 12 in the standard range, and this was the window model. As you can see, this screws apart. There's a rubber gasket in the middle there, and that sandwiches between a single pane of glass. They weren't able to be put through double glazing unless you bought an extension kit for these, whereas the universal range wasn't able to go through double glazing because it wasn't invented then. This fan, you'll notice, has air operated shutters here, these flaps, which are on magnets. So basically in standard operation the magnets are weighted so that the shutters close, creating the backdraft shutters. The annoying thing about this is, and probably people will agree, is because these flaps are air operated, is that if there is a slight breeze in the room, the clattering noise of these flaps becomes quite annoying. There isn't actually any way to lock these flaps shut. Now you'll notice there is 2 pull cords underneath the model of the fan, and these pull cords are basically for intake operation, so you couldn't just turn the fan onto intake because these shutters would just remain shut and the wind, the air direction would just blow against them. What you have to do with these standard range, again was a disadvantage, is you actually have to pull a cord which has a circular ring which locks the shutters into their open position, as I'll just demonstrate here. So there we go, that's now locked them into the open position, so it can be used for intake operation, so the shutters won't close behind it. Quite useful for natural ventilation because you could open the shutters and have the fan freewheeling in the wind, so that it would basically create a nice draft in your room if you wanted natural ventilation, less security of an open window, blah blah blah. But the annoying thing is, again, obviously when on a cold winter's day, when you shut those shutters, you're still going to get the annoying clanging sound, and if there is a breeze somewhere else and someone opens the door, you still get the flaps open and susceptible to the wind and conditions outside. This fan actually comes with, it came with a standard range controller. Now these controllers were the first controllers for the standard range units. They were adapted after the Silent 6 and the Axia X type. And these controllers have boost, low and normal. Interestingly, the other way around, so you wouldn't turn it clockwise, you would have to turn it anti-clockwise to start on boost. But they do have the intake and extract buttons. You'll see on the back this one actually hasn't got a back plate, so we'll just delve into the controller. This back plate here, this long metallic strip, is the live strip, and as you see the little dial turning around, as the dial turns round it contacts a metal strip and then turns that one off and then makes contact with another circuit, and basically all that does is makes contact with various windings within this transformer. So you would have a transformer that has all the windings, which would create high speed, and then you would use some of the windings for low speed. I think that's correct. If not, someone will correct me on that one. This has obviously been taken out of installation somewhere. These controllers were quite old. They were the latter part of the 60s, early 70s, the first generation of standard universal range controllers. And these fans were commonly found in pubs and clubs and restaurants at the time. As with everything, I've plugged it in and tried this thing. The fan still works and blows quite a lot of air, if I can just get this adjusted right. And this is the standard range. I'll put it onto boost on extract first. We'll turn it on at the wall and then see this running. Shutter stuck there. So that's on boost on extract. Which is quite loud. It's got a good air rate. I'll turn it to low. Now low's quite a nice speed because you could have that on in the background and not worry about that. That would be quite sufficient to have on in the background if you just wanted to move some air without the noise. And then finally the normal. So those are the three speeds. Now if I turn it off and I push the intake button, you'll notice, if I just demonstrate, if I put it on boost, that those shutters close. Now what has to happen, if I just pull this on the left hand side, which opens and locks the shutters, if I now turn that on, we get the intake operation. Put that onto low so I can hear myself. Intake obviously wasn't as inefficient as extract because the pitch of the blades were made that the air would travel in the direction of extract, but obviously Axia thought of everything and thought, why not ventilate a room as well as extract air from a room? So they built that facility into the controllers. I'll just flick between extract, which I'm not supposed to do, but just to demonstrate that the motor spins the other way. That then goes back. If I then release cord lock and then turn the fan off, now as I've got it on a slight angle, obviously the magnets aren't going to shut, but if I just release that there, that'll shut the shutters behind it. So there we have it. That's the Axia standard range. Not as impressive as the universal range, but still commonplace in a lot of installations today in the UK and abroad. Thanks for watching. See you again.